Hey guys, welcome back. Before we get in today's topic, John had kept talking to me about wanting to talk about wrestling. My thing is that I've been watching wrestling since I was a kid, so I know past content and current content, and John really doesn't. But over the weekend, two wrestlers had passed away. Dan Hodge at 88, and Luke Harper, also known as Brody Lee, with AEW. His real name was John Hutter. He was only 41. It wasn't because of the global pandemic. Let me put that out there. It wasn't because of that. A lot hasn't been released. It's just it was from what was it was a lung sickness, I guess you could say. But by the time this video comes out, it will almost be a week. So, because I do watch current wrestling, a lot of the stuff that was put out there from fans and wrestlers alike who got to interact with Brody Lee has just been very heartwarming. I never did get to see him wrestle live when he was with the Wyatt family or the Bludgeon Brothers and the current product at AEW. But when I did get to watch him wrestle as far as pay-per-view goes, it was always, any gimmick he had, he made work. And he was very knowledgeable, and from what everybody has said who did work with him, he was a very sweet person. He was loving. He was funny. So it just sucks that 2020 is. There's just a lot of things that people don't like about 2020, and it keeps piling up. So with those two, just rest, and people, fans, families gonna miss you, but. I just had to put that out there because John, like I had said before, John just wanted to talk about wrestling, and I don't understand why if he doesn't watch current product, but then that happened, so I just had to throw that in there before we got on today's topic.
Today's wonderful, amazing topic.
On to lighter subjects, topics. What John and myself are going to talk about, we went through a few years ago. I'm not mentioning anybody's name. I'm not mentioning the year this happened in. I will mention the show. The only reason John was in it with me, I'm not mentioning anybody else's names. I'm just going to talk. We are going to talk about what happened. I'm not bringing up anybody else's names. I'm going to talk about situations that occurred during the show, during rehearsals, the infamy. But is that fair that we just don't leave everybody else's names out of it? Yeah. Okay, so without further ado, we are going to talk about a show John and myself were in called Nobody Loves an Albatross.
Fanfare. I do want to say that at the particular place where this did happen, since we're not mentioning any names, this was actually my first show in said place. Originally, that show wasn't the one that was supposed to be made. It was supposed to be a different show. I don't think either of us could actually remember what show it was.
I don't remember the title of the show. I just remember that it was supposed to be a murder mystery, and that's all I distinctly remember. That is it. I don't remember anything else.
And the only reason that I was actually supposed to be there when I came for one of their rehearsals was because I was coming with Patrick, because he asked me to help out with with some tech stuff, like set building stuff like that. And I was like, sure, I'd never been to the place before, so I was like, need to get some more experience, hang out, do some stuff. Ended up sitting in for a read-through of the show because actors didn't show up. And then the show got canceled. And that's actually how I think both of us ended up getting cast in the show that took over for the show that was canceled.
What I believed happened is we were reading and having read-throughs for the show that was supposed to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And then 2 weeks before opening, we got told we can't do it anymore. So it was a scramble to find a show that we were able to do and put up in 2 weeks' time.
And it had to be a show that had no royalties, no rights to it, because the thing about rights is you have to put rights in like weeks, months in advance to get approval, and we didn't have that kind of time, like 2 weeks, so I had to find something to put up, and so the show that was chosen, from what I'm told after like an extensive search of many different scripts, was Nobody Loves an Albatross. Why? That show was something else.
I feel like that's an oversimplification. Okay, what I do remember is, do you remember your role?
Yes.
Legit, do you? Okay,
Yeah.
Who did you play? Because I don't remember my character's name. I just know that I was a manager or something, and I didn't show up until the ending of the show.
We have another friend. I won't mention her, but she knows who she is. She's nearby. She was cast to play like an editor or something like that, and I had to be her little lackey. My name was, I believe, I remember the first part's LT. I think my last name was Whitman, LT Whitman, and I was her little gopher. Like when you see those big executives and they have like their little personal assistant or whatever. That was me. So I just wore an outfit that maybe looked like I should be in the office. And I followed her around. And I had a few lines that I got to say, like interjecting and stuff. And she would turn around and tell me to shut up. Story of my life. That was basically my role in the show, is just to follow her around and be her little errand boy. Call people to do this, do that.
I don't remember too much of that show. I do and I don't. And I don't know if it's because I blocked it out or I blocked it out.
One or the other.
Those are your options. But what I do remember is I showed up at the ending of Act 2, and I'm pretty sure the director... How can I put this lightly? He wasn't aware of what I was doing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Clueless.
There you go. So the director wasn't really aware / kind of clueless as to what I was doing, because at one point I wanted to test how well he pays attention to everything. So this was before the show opened or during the show run?
This is during the run.
So during the run, I gradually would put temporary tattoos down one arm. As we would perform, and then I would go home and I would add some, and slowly my entire left arm was covered in temporary tattoos. I had stars on my knuckles, and then at one point I had a pair of dice and something else on my neck, behind my ears. So I have this entire arm covered in temporary tattoos. Here also. I stood right next to him for about 10 minutes. Talking to him. Face to face. Nothing. Nothing. No hint. No... Hey, when did you... He didn't realize it until another individual came and asked, when did I get those? Did he finally stop and go, oh! It was about a week. I want to say it was about a week after I did this that he noticed. Is it fair to say it was about a week? It was about a week after it took somebody else also to point out what I had done for him to notice.
And keep in mind, when Patrick says that he was talking to him, it wasn't because he was talking to him just like backstage and stuff. The director had actually put himself into the show, and so it was even on stage that this was happening. They were having dialogue back and forth. Nothing. I mean, anybody who's been on stage knows that those lights. I mean, maybe you can get away with not noticing them if they're like backstage, or if you just catch them like in the fluorescent lights. But this was like full on stage lights. Right. Nothing. Just. Oh, that guy.
In a previous video, yes. In a previous video, we had mentioned about toxic environments in theater that we've experienced in this one. Some of the cast did not get along. Okay, some of the cast didn't get along to the point where backstage they would just... I can't say that... would talk at each other without cussing at each other. There you go. I remember there, and this is a good example. Well, everybody's been there and has good examples, but 2004, excuse me. ...2004 was my first season of Viva El Paso. When I mean 2004, I mean that summer of Viva El Paso.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's my first season. Cast members just hated each other, filled with just vile and toxic. But it got to where they're backstage and they're cussing at each other, but listening for their cue at the same time, but like just dogging each other and faces ready to kill each other. But the moment their cue comes on, they go out and they're smiling and they're dancing and they're hitting all their marks and everything. And as soon as they get backstage, they're just back at it again, like nothing just happened. So with that show, there were folks who just... Bickering's an understatement. The fact that a full-fledged fist fight did not happen is impressive. I don't remember building the set. If I built it, I don't remember. Not gonna lie. Time has passed. I kind of did suffer a concussion last year. I don't know if I had forgotten or if that concussion just had something to do with it. I just don't remember.
I don't actually think that we might have built that particular set.
Okay, well, somebody did.
Because it was sparse, if anything. Like, the furniture was the most, that was actually in it. The rest of it was, I think, like, 2 flats, I think?
No, we had...
Because that was, like, the doorway?
It was... There was an archway. You had the 2 walls, their archway. So we would enter and exit through there. And I think there was some other... for cosmetic purposes, to make it look presentable.
Maybe I had the concussion.
Maybe.
I don't remember this set. I mean, I only remember the certain entrance because the...
Well, we all made the same entrance and exit except for him, because it was his house. So he would use the other exit and entrance.
The director. Because we also had like that doorway that was on the side, and he'd go in there for a certain scene because it had to be like a different room in the house or something.
I know there was a couple of couches, tables, stuff in there. Yeah. I remember that. I remember... Okay. Should we get to the most infamous night?
Well, I did want to add on to the what you were saying about conflicts. Just kind of I guess a general rule that I think everyone should abide by. Sometimes you can't, but starting a relationship with someone who you're on stage with, maybe not. Maybe wait until the show's over. That's all I'm going to say about that. Because that was like, not just that show, but other shows I've been in. That's been a crux of like the show. It's just that people start relationships with other actors, and then relationships don't go well, and then the show, which is already teetering, starts to teeter even more because of the relationship backstage. So just, yeah, food for thought.
That, I saw a lot of that during my seasons with Vivo El Paso. And when I say my seasons with Vivo El Paso, it's not like I've done 1 or 2. I think I've done like 6. (2004 to 2007 or 8). 2016 and 2017 seasons.
Did you go back?
2016 and 2017
No,
seasons.
I mean after that.
No, I didn't go back after that. They wanted me back after that, and I politely said no. Yeah. I've seen what you were mentioning. I've seen it a couple of times. To each their own.
That said.
With that said, the most infamous night during a live show with audience there, this took place. Wow. Sorry.
Get a little...
No, man. Heart palpitations came out of nowhere. I guess my body doesn't want to remember.
What you were saying, right? You blocked it out.
Yeah, but my mind blocked it out, but my body was like, whoa! Slow down!
We're not going through this again.
Right? I'm getting anxiety, remembering, and my heart's like, whoa! Okay. So... I can't believe we're... Well, we hit... Yeah, okay. Alright, so... This was during the... First act, second act?
Second. I think. I know one of the things that happened was during the second.
Oh, yeah.
It happened.
So do you want to tell it from your side first, and then I'll go, or?
I guess. Okay.
Because from your side and my side, it happened very simultaneously. We just didn't know about it till after.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay. Well then, let's talk about the thing that we were talking about. And we'll save the other thing that also happened for after. So, I didn't know what had happened when this thing occurred. All I knew was there was a lot of like whispered shouting, and if you're in theater, you know what I'm talking about, where you don't want to let the audience know that something's wrong or whatever, but you got to get your message across. And the dressing rooms in the building were like in the hall to like the entrance of backstage. They're like right there. It's very small, the distance between there and like the backstage area, on stage right. So all I hear is like a lot of whisper shouting, and I'm like, what's going on? So I come out there, and from the general gist of what I understood was going on was that something had gone wrong with the sound. I didn't know what. All I knew was there was something wrong with the sound. Now this was important because there was a scene where one of the actresses was coming on stage. And to come on stage, she had to wait for her cue, and her cue was a doorbell ringing. And when the doorbell would ring, then the other actor who was on stage would come, answer the door, and she'd be there. So, sound fails. No doorbell can come because there's no sound. And so our stage manager starts freaking out. And I mean freaking out. Because what are we going to do? What are we going to do? There's no doorbell. What are we going to do? How could someone possibly say they're at a door without a doorbell? The actress, who is supposed to be coming on stage, just looks and goes, no, don't worry about it. Don't worry. I'll just knock. I'll just knock. As she's saying this, the stage manager is whoosh, running past me, down the hall, script in hand, and goes out into the actual open area, the
Lobby?
the foyer and everything. Goes out, shuts the door. I'm like, what just happened? What's going on? So I'm sitting there, I go backstage, I'm watching the actress who's about to come on. The scene comes up, she hears her line cue before the doorbell was supposed to ring. And what does she do? Like a normal, level-headed actress, she goes and knocks on a wall. Sounds like a door. Boom, boom, boom. Right as she's knocking, I hear from out, what sounds like it's out in the actual house where the audience is, someone yell out, "Ding dong!" The stage manager had ran all the way around and yelled, "Ding dong!" That's where my part of the story ends. I noticed you tried not to laugh at that.
Because it's so... I can't even think of the word right now.
Embarrassing?
No, it's just...
Ridiculous?
Yes. The idiocracies that happen in theater, you don't think of stuff like that would happen. If you know, the set comes apart and the wall falls, yes, something like that, because that's like, oh, all right. Okay, so that's John's side. My side, since I didn't have a very big part, I did say I only come in at the end. I was backstage. I was in costume, but I was just, I was just waiting. From the light and sound folk come gradually backstage, their binder, no concern. They just come up to me and they say, "The sound stopped working. Can you please check it out?" With no concern or anything, just, "Can you? The sound stopped, so we just came down because we didn't know what to do." Okay, let me go look. So I go up to the booth. I turned the stereo back on because they turned it off. So I turned it on and I was looking for the sound CDs that we had used, and I had to go back downstairs and ask them where it was. I find them and I ask, "Well, where are the CDs?" "Oh, brought them down with me." So they hand me the binder with the CDs in it, and I go back upstairs. And there was a lot of dust, so I just kind of, blew the dust off the CD player, and I put the CDs back in, and I was able to get it working again. I had no idea that this was taking place while I was getting the CD player working again. So when I came down the stairs, I wasn't expecting to happen what happened next. I come going down the stairs, and I see the stage manager standing in front of me, with her head peeking through into the auditorium, with her script in her hand. Then abruptly and bluntly, she says and yells out, "Ding dong." I couldn't tell you much after that. I went backstage to find the sound and light folk, and the looks on their face said it all. And I told them I got the sound working. Please go back upstairs so that doesn't happen again. I don't remember much. How many weekends we had left of that show. I know by the end of it, people wanted to kill each other. You know, as we're talking about this, I don't know, because you had always wanted to talk about wrestling, and in wrestling they have the word kayfabe. I don't know if we're breaking kayfabe right now, but then again, people know and don't know what it takes to put on a show. So I don't know how often they hear about backstage shenanigans or things that just, you know. So if you're watching this and things like this happen more, just, yeah, a lot.
You know, I think it's good. I would rather have something happen backstage than on stage, which is a nice little segue into the next little story of something that happened for the same show. And believe it or not, involves the same person, the stage manager.
No, please don't.
I will.
Please don't.
Have to.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
No, you don't. No. No. Please, no.
Why? Don't you want to hear this?
No, I don't. No.
And here we go.
No, we're just going to stop it there. Some things are better left unsaid.
Okay.
It took me, you know what, I will say this, it took a while for those tattoos to come off.
Let me ask you this. If I can't tell that story, can I tell a story that is similar to it from a completely different show?
Why do you want to talk about?
This is about things that happen on stage that are crap. And I don't know if I've talked about this before, mostly because I forget a lot of things due to my Alzheimer's.
Maybe you do have a concussion.
Maybe. This one, because I can't tell the Albatross one. But just know.
No.
But
Stop.
I'm just letting them know. But the one I'm gonna tell is from Shakespeare on the Rocks. It's a nice little thing like about when stuff happens on stage that you really can't help, but it happens. I got two for you. Two because I can't tell the one. So, the first one, this one was completely in the control of the actor. And he chose to do something ridiculous.
Where this was...
This was...
I don't want the individual's name.
The name of the show, or...?
No, just, it was part of...
Part of what?
You just said it. It was a part of...
SOT.
Okay.
Yeah,
There you go.
Shakespeare on the Rocks. Ha, you'll get to know that. But it was part of Shakespeare. It was a show called Othello. And there was an actor who was playing, I believe the character's name is Claudio? No. I don't know. Cassio. There you go. Cassio. Claudio Cassio. They're so... I hate that. Shakespeare. Let's put things together. But Cassio And in the scene, he's supposed to be standing on stage waiting for this girl that he's been sleeping with, who's not really a girlfriend, she's just someone that he's been having a physical relationship with, to come on stage. Now, as the scene's about to start, the actress who's playing the girl who's supposed to be running on to meet him realizes in a flash that her makeup doesn't look right. So she goes from stage left all the way around. This is a different stage, so it's a bigger stage, all the way around to stage right, backstage into the dressing rooms to fix her makeup. As she enters the doorway and leaves the stage, the scene changes to her scene. She's not there. So in walks our young Cassio, and he's standing there. And she's supposed to come running on. It's supposed to happen really quickly. He's waiting there. Nothing. Everybody's backstage is freaking out. Where is she? Where'd she go? He's standing there, standing there, standing there. She's not coming, and so he starts to ad-lib on stage, which is fine. That's what a good actor should do, ad-lib. Until the point when he's like, where is she? And keep in mind, this is Shakespeare. This is a period piece taking place back in, like, the 1700s.
Instead of saying that, can he just say, tut, tut? Isn't that filler for everything?
He could have. But what did he choose to do? He goes, where could she be?
Oh my god!
He looks at his wrist for a watch that not only is not there, but has no business being there because it's the wrong time period. The audience got a laugh, and so he got a chuckle from everybody off stage in the house. Everybody that was backstage wanted to kill him. Don't do stupid stuff like that. The second story was completely beyond the actress's capability to
Control?
stop. Yeah, her control. Completely beyond her control. It happened during Hamlet. She was playing Ophelia. She has to run in to the theater, run on stage, and like run around because she's crazy at this point. And there's a ramp. She runs up the ramp. No problem. She reaches the top, runs down the ramp. That's when she caught the lip of the section of the ramp that wasn't exactly flesh, and it was like this. She catches it with her bare foot.
Oh!
And goes flying down the rest of the ramp, hitting the stage and tumbling. But this is a good story, because even though she fell like that and should have been really hurt, she gets up on all fours, looks around, starts laughing, like cackling, gets up on her feet, and then runs off stage like she was supposed to.
Okay. So she kind of went with it, though.
Yeah.
Alright. I have one that was really quick that I just remembered, and we'll say goodbye to the folks. It was the very last show that I was in. A Christmas Carol in 2014. So as performers, if you have quick costume changes, if you can layer them somehow, it helps. It's the best thing to do. I was playing different characters, and I was in the Fezziwig dance, right? That's what it's... Okay, so underneath my top hat, my coat, and my dress clothes as a businessman, I had my tights on for the Fezziwig dance. So I go... It was something only performers would notice. If the audience noticed, then either we're not doing our job right, or we're doing our job right, and the audience just knows the consistency is off. So for the Fezziwig dance, I have my wig, I have my bright vest, I have the pants that come up to the knees, and I have my stockings. and the entry, we go and we make our entrances and we're saying hello to Fezziwig. And I looked down and I noticed that he's got his black tights on with white socks. So as I shook his hand and I greeted him, I whispered into his ear, "You left your socks on." He just looks down, and obviously there wasn't much he could do about it then. It's just one of those things where again, if you're a performer and you will notice things like that, okay. I just happened to notice, and I was like, really? It's just, it was one of those things. And you're talking about, things out of people's control, and that was in his control, but I guess he changed too quick that day, and he didn't realize that he left his socks on. I had one more, and I completely spaced on it, just in general. I just spaced on the other one. If obviously when I remember, I'll put in the next video.
Actually, no, I had to do one of those changes like that when I was in the show, and
Which show?
Christmas Carol.
Oh, well, I mean, there's a lot of people because they get cast in multiple roles. So,
but I just didn't wear my socks for before, after I was in the Fezziwig party and we danced and everything. As soon as I went back and stripped those tights off, that's when I put my regular socks on. But before that, my pants just hung down low. Nobody saw that I was wearing white.
Okay, gotcha. I just remembered this one, and it also has to do with A Christmas Carol. But this was Tech with Costumes. First Dress, it's called. I had never seen my counterpart in her costumes. I had never seen the gentleman who was playing Scrooge that year in his costume. Do you know this? Did I ever tell you this?
I don't know.
Okay. So we walk on stage, and the same deal as I do. She's got this mustache that curls though, so that was the funny part. So I always now I have a beard. Back then it was bushier because I wasn't allowed to shave, so it's just a really bushy beard. And she just had just the mustache that curled, but so we make our first entrance. We're the businessmen that want to see if Scrooge will donate anything, and he's got the lines of, aren't there, prisons, poorhouses and all that. So we go, Scrooge sees us, and he starts giggling, not a cackle, but a giggle, and he's trying not to show it. But mind you, it's all lighthearted. It's not making fun of anybody. It's just this is the first time we see anybody in costumes. So, no one's going to know what they're going to look like. It just happens. I mean, he had on prosthetic eyebrows and sideburns. So, as we get closer, I realize that he's hiding behind his desk, but he's holding his vest closed because it's a little snug on him. So, he's holding it here, and as we're talking, my counterpart, she's delivering her lines, but as she's talking, the mustache is trying not to hit her in the eyes because it was just too long. So I'm walking and I'm talking to him, and then he whips around and he looks at me. As he does this, the eyebrow does this, and he feels it. So he's yelling at me in Scrooge voice, jumping up and down because he's laughing at his eyebrow. And then the sideburn goes. The next day, obviously, it was a lot better because they take notes, and the costumers, they do work hard to get everything ready. They stay later than a lot of other people do when it comes to laundry and everything else in between, and to make the corrections, hemming things, cutting things, sewing things. So I get it, but if you can't laugh at something like that, then you're in it for the wrong reasons. Like, just have fun with it. Things like that are gonna happen. Yeah, just when, yeah, it was fun, and that was a good memory. When it comes to things like that, that's a good memory for me, because it was just really funny, I don't want to mention anybody's names just because I just don't want to mention anybody's names. Whether they want me to or not, I don't mind making fun of myself. I don't mind talking about the things I've experienced. So, because we're professional and we know what we're doing, I forgot to charge the camera and it cut off to what I was saying. So the last 5 minutes of the video, we just were basically talking to ourselves. So we're going to try to remember what we were saying. I know I was in the middle of talking about A Christmas Carol and how everything that first dress was just a good memory, and how you just, when things like that happen, you just gotta laugh. Don't take it too seriously. I know how hard A Christmas Carol is. It is a beast. Costumers have a hell of a job costuming that show, because when people are double cast, they have multiple costumes. The laundry that needs to be done for it, just to make sure everybody has everything that they need, from their socks to their undershirts and everything in between. I performed in it once. I'm good. I've done tech for it. I've had friends who have done tech for it multiple times, and they just, the late nights, the stress, I get, yep, yes. You did it. You were saying, you did it 2-3 times.
2 times. I think 2 times, and then tech a few times. Including where we did it with the Nutcracker added in. It was a weird combination show. We did tech for that one too.
Yep.
Now, what I would say about it is that I actually like Christmas Carol. I love it. This year alone, I've watched 3 or 4 different versions of it, and I don't...
George C. Scott.
Yeah, I like that one. I haven't watched that one yet because it's one of my favorites. So I'm watching the ones I haven't watched as much, or the ones that I haven't seen yet.
Gotcha. Okay. No, I get it.
There's another one. I think it was made in 1931, 35, something like that. That one is god awful, and Christmas Present makes me want to barf.
Is it wrong that I like the animated Jim Carrey version of A Christmas Carol?
I love that one.
Okay.
I own it on Blu-ray. I don't get when people are like, that one wasn't that good. I'm like, that one was perfect.
I liked it. That's good. I also like Scrooged with Bill Murray.
And
which is a version of it, obviously.
I think and then there's one that I liked. It was the straight to movie one, I think, from like the 90s. I think it was called Mrs. Scrooge or Miss Scrooge. Mm-hmm. That was the first time they ever actually cast Scrooge, not only as a woman, but as a black woman, and the story was amazing. It was pretty great. I wish they'd do it again, but what are you gonna do? But what I was gonna say is I actually like Christmas Carol. So if there's any directors that watch this and you need a Scrooge,
how can you say no to that outfit? Come on. That was about it, because I honestly don't remember what else we were saying at the end. I'm gonna try and get this video out on Thursday. Yes, I just remember the ending because it just happened to me 5 minutes ago. I'm gonna try to get this video out by Thursday. Thursday's New Year's Eve. Happy New Year. Stay safe. You had said 20. What did you say? Welcome to 2021.
Oh yeah, welcome to 2021.
Yeah, where the camera cut off, John had said, okay, welcome 2021, and then I asked I would like to see the terms and conditions for 2021 and what I'm about to accept. Till next time, we'll see you all later. marker.